Taylor, 4333 Rickard Highway, Westwood Township, that's what that is. To address a couple things, and I'm glad Mr. Martis took to heart the comment about the pictures, and I only made the comment about one, but I put about several others. I'd like to say that, addressing what Dave said, a lease, a free lease across somebody's land or an easement without being paid. I think that, and I know for a fact that we pay $1,500 a year for a wind turbine that's within half a mile of the residence. So you're 1,500 feet or so within that. So you would have a right to, somebody would have a right to collect $1,500 a year for 20 years and a 3% increase. The other, and I think it should be from the residents and not from the property line, because that treats everybody the same. I realize people have different preferences on that. We need to look at it as treating everybody equal, regardless of the size of the property. If you use the residents to do that for occupied dwelling, then you've accomplished that. So with that, I would hopefully that we could end this discussion tonight, and you guys can get to your business. I see that it is going to take you quite a while to get done. Thank you.
Jeff?
Hi, my name is Kevin Smith, 3670 Rosen Highway. Moved to the area to be around family. We grew up in Raga and Otter Lake and Palmyra, and moved back to this area to raise my family with you know, my other family or whatever. I'm concerned about special needs people and people with disabilities and potential health effects with the possible windmills placement. And I think that the setbacks are not far enough based on all the information I've heard and researched a little bit. And I think it should be placed from the property boundary, because if they're protecting their land, they want to build where, you know, windmills on their land, they're protecting their land from their property boundary, then we should be able to protect our land from our property boundary. And I fear that potential health effects, if they do arise, then we might have to leave the area, you know, based if there is health effects. And, you know, $1,500 isn't anything. It's not even about the money. It's whether, you know, why take a chance if there's potential for one of my family members to be affected by the windmills. You know, we're just gonna have to leave the area that we wanted to come back to start our family. So that's it.
Kevin, you have a special needs daughter?
I have a family member that's affected with disabilities.
Thank you. That's it. Communications, Laramie County Planning Commission meeting. This item is on the agenda for the Thursday, October 20th Planning Commission meeting. Laramie County Planning Commission meeting. And that meeting begins at 6 p.m. at the old courthouse in England. Now, the second communication I have is that I received a call from a lady, Ms. Lord, concerning the township hall rental. Is she here by chance? I must have made an error when I wrote down her phone number, and I tried to call her back, but I don't have the right number, then can't do it. So, board, any other communications?
I got just one quick, please. Just to let you know, we're scheduled to start Stone Academy tomorrow. Just to let you know.
Very good, thank you. Any word on the Roseville Highway Bridge?
Last time I talked to Jason, I believe he said something about starting next week, starting the Rip Road Bridge, I don't get ready.
I see
But there's nothing concrete yet on, or
Really?
nothing set for sure, but that's what the comments he made last week when I talked to him.
Yes, I assume the box culvert's gonna be brought right on site.
He'll deliver it on site.
No, but right to the site. Okay. Consumers Energy has moved power there on that location, so. Any other communications?
I have one. Rich Marks, the interim Ogden Township Supervisor, flew around the Paulding wind development. So he took a lot of good photos. If anybody would like to see him from a bird's eye view.
This is one. Will you have this here later for anybody in the audience to look at?
Yes.
If you'd like to see these photos, see Mr. Pappenhagen. Further Communications Board? Seeing none. Unfinished business, wind turbine ordinance. Last Thursday night, I believe, Clerk Meyer, correct me if I'm wrong, we made it to item 20
Yes. Page 9.
on page 9. Does everybody have their copy? Okay. To go through procedure once again, in your copy, we have wordage that could be deleted, would be struck. Wordage to be added to the document would be in italics, as you have. If there's a question, it appears in parentheses. Again, we'll use the same procedure as before, that we'll read through, we'll consider a section or a page, depending on the amount of discussion I anticipate for each section. There'll be a motion and support to get the item on the table. I'll ask for discussion. If someone wishes to amend the wordage, I welcome that. And if there is a motion to amend, we'll vote on the amendment. And then we'll replace the word or words or sections. And then we'll, again, vote on the entire section, or in some cases, perhaps the entire page. Any questions on the procedure? And then at the end, we will vote on the entire ordinance. Now, since the Illinois County Planning Commission will be reviewing this on Thursday, would it be in our best interest to wait and hear what they have to say before we vote on the entire ordinance? That's kind of assuming that we're going to get through the rest of it tonight.
I think we'll wait just.
Okay, well, if we get through all the sections this evening, if there's a motion to approve it and a support, we'll address it. If there is no motion or no support to address it as a whole, then it won't happen tonight.
Okay.
Is everyone clear on that? Is the board clear on that? Okay. The next section is section 20, I believe on page 9. Complaint resolution process. Frank, you and I discussed the complaint resolution board
Correct.
and discussed the alternative of using our zoning administrator.
Correct. That would be one of the ways we could do it.
Do you have any legal recommendation of which one
I think-
would or could?
I think either the two suggestions I had would be fine. One is the zoning administrator who you have selected and obviously trust. The other would be where you create the actual board where the township, under my suggestion, the board would actually select the members of the, with the exception of the wind energy facility operators representatives, the board itself would actually select the people that sit on the board. I believe if you're going to go with a board rather than an individual, that you should select them. Basically, it boils down to you're ultimately responsible. You're going to take either support or the opposition of the way the board is being conducted. And if you ultimately have the ability, if there's a problem, you will have the ability to make the changes if the personalities don't mesh, for example. Just give you a suggestion. And you're taking, you realize it's not working, then ultimately you're going to have citizens come to you and complain about it. You would then have the ability to correct, change the problem, or determine that there is not a problem, if there isn't. As elected officials, you're ultimately going to be responsible and answerable to the voters. You would see it's a lot better for you to have a say as to how that board is going to consist of, with the exception of the wind energy facility representative. If you do it that way, you would have it's much cleaner, I think, and much more satisfactory for you, the board, to be able to say, we've got a problem member of the board, or we've got a good board, or we've got all the members of that problem, and we need to change it. You're ultimately electable, you're elected to office, you're ultimately responsible, and that's why if you're going to have a board, it would be my recommendation that you actually select the members of that.
And if they were selected by the township board, we need to specify that they are.
Right.
And what their length of term is.
Well, what I had proposed anyways, is they would simply serve at your pleasure. And that's going to, at the pleasure of the board, township board.
So then we would indeed have to go and set policy on the terms and so forth.
Well, you could, or you could simply say they will simply serve at your pleasure, so that if it turns out that the board is functioning properly and doing what it should do, and you're satisfied with it, then you're not going to lose people at the end of a term limit type. On the other hand, if you say they're going to sit there for a period of 2 years, and it turns out that they become an impediment to a successful resolution of any issues, then you're going to want to get that person gone so the board functions. And that's why I would simply recommend they serve at your pleasure, so that you have the ability to remove them if they don't work out, and if they do work out, let them continue to serve. And if you have the one person which consists of the zoning administrator, obviously you have the same thing. You can simply eliminate this, fire, remove the zoning administrator, and your problem is gone, and appoint somebody new. The question becomes whether you want to put all the workload on your zoning administrator, or whether you want to put it on board. And whether you're going to lose your zoning administrator, he or she says, that's more than what I want to do.
Does the board understand the options here? Well, what is before us here in section 20 as it was recommended by the planning commission? I move that section 20 be approved as printed.
Support.
Motion Isaac, support Terry. That section 20 be approved as printed. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Electromagnetic interference. Eric.
One quick note on this. I realized as you're going through the definition section last meeting, that in the alternative wordage, the WES and WEGF should be changed to WET and WEF to be consistent with the definition section. And that would be the same, in parts A and B.
I was just about to ask you that question, thank you.